You hope the 12-step
Oh,
program to kind of fit in this network of
this is something
cities.
that I was asked to do, and I have been concerned for some time that we're so busy getting people, to sign the charter, but people are still confused about compassion. And yesterday, during our great day here, people were saying, "But how do you do this?" And it all felt so daunting to them. They're not like you with a monastic discipline behind you. And you're asking them to love their enemies, and it seems so enormous and huge. And I've long thought that it might be an idea to have a step-by-step program, so that people are introduced to the full meaning of compassion.
Right. Yes.
And then nobody really took that up at FETSA or TED, I think. So this idea came to I was approached by this company who said, would I write one of these books?
Oh,
And so I said, well, let's do that. And this is something that initially young people will be able to load it down onto their computers and read it, and on the new iPad,
right.
Which will be is going to be launched, and it'll come out with the launch of the iPad, so that people will. And then I'll write a book, so that'll get into more conventional circles too.
Right. Give us a little taste of the 12 steps. I know in there's got loving yourself and then finally loving your enemies.
Well, it starts off with finding out more about compassion. Give them book lists, ask them to look in their own traditions, to look for the compassionate ethos in their own tradition, be it religious or secular. Perhaps sort of form a group to discuss, and it might be a very good idea to have people of different traditions, so that they can get a taste of one another's takes on this. And of course, each step you don't sort of cross it off, right, I've done that. The idea is that you integrate each step with your daily life. So this will be an ongoing process. Right. But once you're launched and you've got a bit of an idea, then the second step is you look around your own world, look at your family, look at your place of work. What can your profession do to make a more compassionate world? Yes. Whether you're a chef or a cab driver or a lawyer or working with Microsoft, or what can your profession realistically do? And then look at your own nation, your own country. And look at what its effect has been on the world, and how does it treat the elderly, or how does it treat the homeless? How does it treat prisoners? What's its policy about war? Has it done good things in the world? Not just picking out the faults, but looking at the strengths too, so that you get a whole. Then once you've had a good look round, then we move on to, first of all, you must get to know yourself. Your strengths and weaknesses, experience the dukkha or suffering of life, and in your own life, your own pain, looking at your good qualities. Because if you can't feel affection for yourself, you won't be able to feel affection for other people. If you can't really own your own pain, you'll dismiss the pain of other people.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I think we come to, I'm not sure, I think next we come to mindfulness, to just watch yourself calmly during the day as you go about your ordinary business, and notice the way you might behave aggressively to people, or notice other people's pain, I think before then, I think you would then apply the suffering you've experienced. You begin to look around for suffering in other people's life. And then I think it's mindfulness, then putting it into practice in step 5. Once a day, perhaps you take the golden rule and say, what can I do once every day to make somebody's life a little easier? Once every day to stop myself when I'm about to say some unpleasant remark about somebody. And then when you've got that as a daily practice, up it to 2, to 3, till it's part of your routine. And then we look at things like how little we know in the world, and about each other. the essential mystery and sacredness of each person, and learn how our snap judgments can affect the way, if we think we know everything, and we can make judgments about people that are not accurate, not kind, not compassionate. Then discuss the way we speak to one another. How do we speak the truth? How do we right speaking, right thinking, right speaking, and how do we conduct arguments? How should we conduct debates? In what spirit? Listen to the way how aggressive our discourse often is in public, in our parliamentary institutions, in the media, in private discussions where you want to win rather than find the truth. And then we start thinking. Then it's time to move outward a bit. Look at think of that Buddhist meditation where you send out waves of thoughts of compassion to all the world. That's introduced people to that idea. That Buddhist prayer, let all beings be happy. And look at in your own tradition, how the tradition always tells you to go outside your own group. I've given people hints about what each tradition says and does. Then recognizing that you're tuned into the rest of the world, that apply all the things you've learnt about how we treat other people, how little we know, to the rest of the world. How little we know about other countries, other nations, and yet we're always judging them. The suffering that is in all these countries. Think about this and do something practical about it. Make yourself read an article every week, either about on the web or a book, or about a trouble spot in the world, particularly one that think you have fixed ideas, and don't leave this step until you've already started to think, well, perhaps I may not have thought fully about this. And then moving on, finally, you start to think about the people who are our enemies, what love your enemies actually means. And these things we will be working at all our lives.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, someone was saying to me this afternoon, perhaps when people have gone through the steps in 6 months, we can give them they can be called compassionistas. I said, hold your horses, 6 months. Maybe, I said, that's too American, you want everything now, and this is a long process. True. But you could give them a sort of a little title or a ceremony, when they got through the first form, for example. But, I said, you'll have a whole room full of Buddhas here.